I was worried that maybe young people would think, I could never do something like that. I could never be part of something like that. Where do you even start? And I wanted to remind people that it takes one person.
Hello, this is Dr. Jeff, and I'm on the UCLA campus, actually headed out to the School of Law, where we'll be attending a workshop called Preserving Our Histories and the Freedom to Tell Our Stories.
My name is Randall Park. For those of you who don't know me, I am an actor, a director, a writer, a producer, but I'm also a father, a husband, a son, and a friend. I am a certified lifeguard, I am a licensed plumber, and I am a proud graduate of UCLA.
Really impressive campus, and one of the centers actually really for Asian American studies. So thankful for the work coming out of here and the collaboration with many scholars in Asian American studies.
This case centers on the intersection of identity, media, the criminal justice system, and the power of community organizing.
I was not an angel on our side. At the same time, I was not the devil.
I kept reading the court records and things were shouted at me.
People knew that the Korean didn't do it.
You don't distinguish facial features of other racial groups. This case started in this kind of racism.
It didn't take a genius to find out, what went wrong.
이철수 사건을 알고 계세요? 네, 그러면요.
우선 그게 공정하지 않게 판결이 되지 않고 있다는 걸 우선 알고 있고요.
For too long of time, Asians been on the subject of racial injustice in the history of America. I think this is time Asian community came forth and said enough is enough.
So Chol Soo's case represents the first pan-Asian national campaign for justice that came out of the voices of Asian Americans. But there's another story, and that story goes beyond the individual's story. So that story is about breaking stereotypes. It's a story of deep faith and determination that arose out of collective action across ethnicities, generations, language, for the murder of a Chinatown notable named Yip Yi Tak. And he was believed to be a member of the Waching. Chol Soo was arrested, tried, and he was convicted based on the testimony of European tourists who identified him as eyewitness to the incident. Now, K.W. Lee, he was a seasoned investigative journalist. He was chief of the bureau at the Sacramento Bee, where he heard about the case. He thought, this doesn't seem right. He wanted to see this Korean American kid who was being held in prison, and when he went and heard Chol Soo's story, he realized this guy's innocent. This guy's innocent, and we need to do something about it. So he started writing stories. Those stories went out into the media, and community members started realizing that this guy's gonna die if we don't do something. Literally, it was a life and death situation. And in fact, one of the original organizers at 94 is here with us, Grace Kim.
This movie, I was very young. None of you can recognize me there.
This is such an incredible story, right? When you think about it, you saw the film trailer. A Korean immigrant man, racially profiled, railroaded in our criminal justice system. A newspaper reporter comes upon the case, digs for the truth and exposes the injustice. And then a group of people, as Angela said, young and old, politically conservative and politically radical, immigrant and US born. I mean, you had church-going grandmothers showing up in their, traditional silk dresses, standing alongside third, second generation Japanese, Korean, Chinese, and Filipino Americans who are student activists.
For the fact that these histories will die with all of us if we don't record them and preserve them. And there's so many lessons that we can learn, as you can see from the story that Julie told and Grace told today, that we could all benefit. And these are universal stories. They're Asian American subjects, but they're also universal stories. To be able to fill those holes, right, in history. Like I didn't even learn about the camps that my parents were interned in during World War II until college, right, until Asian American Studies. To be able to look at the world and understand the world from different perspectives and positionalities. Because that allows us to develop the third thing, which is self-respect and mutual respect and ability to communicate effectively across difference. And then for us to understand the broad arcs of history and develop the analytical skills to be able to understand how to do the kind of problem solving, the difficult problem solving, the critical problems and issues of our time. And then lastly, to be able to have that sense of agency that yes, I can make a difference. And so that the example from the Chol Soo case of Ron Yamada and KW Lee instills in youth that idea that they can make a difference.
Imagine we're living in a time when stories like ours are being erased. They're being erased. And we can't erase what's on the internet, right? Because that space, hopefully, will remain forever. And this project is not just about your biological children. I have none, okay? This is a project for not just the next generation. I don't think that short term. This is a project for 7 generations at least.
Once again, the Chol Soo Lee story is just one of, I think, 50 different lessons that are coming out as a part of this digital library of lesson resource banks for educators, but beyond educators as well. But I'm excited. I'm excited to look into this Chol Soo Lee story. Once again, I've always been interested in it, but I didn't have the resources to tell this story well. So I'm definitely thinking for our Korean American Studies course, this could be something that we could try out and pilot test for this year. And once again, it's a Korean American story, but it goes so far beyond Korean Americans as well.